Hi, it's day number 64 in our journey through the Bible, Route 66. You can see a bunch of 66s behind me, that Route 66 that goes from Chicago to Los Angeles. And we are on a journey. We're on day number 64, and we're in Deuteronomy 16, 17, 18, and 19. So 4 chapters today. So grab your Bible and let's see what we have here. When you read Deuteronomy chapter 16, you're going to find out some interesting things here. Deuteronomy chapter 16, Moses instructs the Israelites about the celebrations that they have, important feasts like Passover, Feast of Weeks, Feast of Tabernacles. And God put these festivals in their yearly calendar to help them to remember what God has done for them, his deliverance from Egypt, to worship him and do those things. And I think that's a good thing. And we should have times in our life when we have that. So he instructs them about those festivals. Deuteronomy 17 talks about choosing leaders, including a king. Now, they didn't have a king. They would have a king for hundreds of years. But he explains that when you have a king, that king must obey God's laws. That king must avoid too many riches. Always seek the advice of wise counsel, ensuring that power is used fairly without leading the people into idolatry. The king was important. And so he instructs them about that. I think it's interesting, he instructs them about something that they wouldn't have for hundreds of years, but they eventually would. Deuteronomy 18 focuses on the roles of the Levites and the prophets, two different groups of people. God promises that he will raise a prophet like Moses and warns them not to listen to anyone else but true prophets. That ultimate prophet would be Jesus, but there would be other good prophets. And they could tell a prophet because if they ever said anything that was not true, they were not a true prophet. A prophet had to be 100% correct. They were supposed to avoid witchcraft of any kind and stay away from any of the sorcery and those kind of things. Stay away from that. Only go to God. And in Deuteronomy chapter 19, he gives them some instructions on how to have fair justice. Going back to this idea of the cities of refuge, safe places where people could go if they accidentally killed someone. And so they were supposed, and also he stresses the importance of being honest in your witness in legal matters. You had to tell the truth. And I think that's where we come up with, if you recall, they don't do it as much anymore, but you would place your hand on the Bible. Remember that? Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. God emphasizes the fact that we are to tell the truth always, but especially in legal matters. Now, what are some lessons in these 4 chapters? There's some lessons. Community worship, worshiping together. These festivals that they have, gathered together. In fact, the men were commanded to go to a festival, and it reminded them to come together to worship God together. Yes, we can worship God in our own little place, in our own little private time, with our own little small family, but we are to gather together for worship. A second lesson is good leadership is important. They didn't have a king, but when you do have a king, this is the type of person that you need to have as a leader, whether it be a king or a judge. They need to have these credentials, these godly credentials to honor God and keep his rules and act with integrity. It's important to have good leadership. Another one is to seek true guidance. God didn't want his people just to listen to everybody's voice. Some people do that now. I want to listen to all the information and then come up with my own conclusion. God said that's not a very wise thing. Listen to God and his word and the true prophets and follow their guidance. And then the fourth one, it iterates it over and over and over again. Moses is telling them justice and fairness matter. The whole idea of a city of refuge. You need to slow down the process of judging somebody. You need to to make sure that you're fair and you're just, treating others right in legal matters, and that's important. So good chapters. So it's a long reading today, but they're good practical steps.